Okay, back for part two. Something a little quick. Part of the MCACN show is that they have invitationals, and these cars are part of the Corvette Invitational. Let's see, that's a 428 Corvette car. This is a 429 Ram Air car. And another Ram Air car. I'm sorry, another Corvette car. There's just so many things going on here. Another one, another Mustang back there. But the highlight of this particular segment is going to be part of the 1970 series. Every year they hold an anniversary special, and for 2020 was supposed to be the 1970 anniversary invitational. But unfortunately the show was canceled last year due to COVID, but this year they're incorporating the 1970 model cars into the 1971 invitational. So here is the beginning of a long line of 1970 AAR Cudas and Challenger TAs. They were 1 year only. They were all 340 6-pack cars. You could get them automatic or 4-speed. They had the exhaust come out in front of the rear tires, like you see here. They had fiberglass hoods on them. And there's a whole bunch. There's not too many shows where you're going to see all these cars lined up next to each other. And there's a few others scattered. There's a Challenger TA down at the end of this row, right over there, the red one. And then here's another Challenger TA. Speaking of TA, there's a Pontiac Trans Am, and there's another one over there, and there's another one over there, and another one right behind that. We're gonna look at that white Trans Am momentarily, but here's another Challenger TA. And note the hood scoop, because the AAR hood is different. They're all fiberglass hoods. They were all blacked out, and very hard to duplicate the factory finish. The product is called Organisol, and sometimes you see it done very nicely, but those are few and far between. Some of them are pretty good, and some of them are actually atrocious. Let's call it the way it is. There's another Challenger TA, and you can see that just the hood is blacked out on these, nothing on the fenders. And then you get over to an AAR car, you can see that the hood is different. There's the 6-pack air cleaner peeking through. There's the TA hood. And on these cars, the fenders have the Organisol product, and it goes along the top of the fenders, the doors, and straight through to the quarter panel. And it ends there. The AAR cars had a nice decal on the back, whereas the Challenger should say it on the rear spoiler. So let's continue down the row. You'll see a variety of colors. Another AAR car, another AAR car. There's a Challenger car back there, a purple one. There's another AAR car and another AAR car, the Tor red one back there, and another AAR and another AAR. Here's a Charger RT, 1960, actually 1970. Another 70 Charger RT. Another 70 Charger RT. And finally, another AAR. You can see some of the hoods on these have a huge bulge along the edge. I've noticed that on quite a few of the AARs and a couple of the Challengers. That body line is just not flat and straight. And I'm going to point the finger that more than likely it's an aftermarket hood, and the mold that was made was not entirely proper. Because I don't remember a factory issue being that severe. A quick look around. Oh, there's a Mustang over there. There's a W30 442 over there. Firebird 400 convertible. Firebird 400 hardtop. Another Firebird 400. I was checking out this car a short time ago. That's a very, very nicely done car. This is a 1969 Trans Am Ram Air 3 400 car. There's supposed to be documentation that this was the first 69 Trans Am produced at the Los Angeles, California plant. Somewhere along the line, I will have access to that paperwork and the documentation. Maybe I'll do a little segment on it at another time. This car is a survivor. Looks really, really good. And from what I understand, when the car leaves this show, it's going to go to a shop and undergo a full restoration to make the car as perfect and factory original as possible. I just looked at an Oldsmobile that the shop did, and the car was absolutely fantastic, so I'm expecting great things for this Trans Am. Speaking of Trans Ams, here's a 1970. 1970s had short bucket seats with headrests. 1971 got rid of the headrest and went to a high back bucket seat. These cars were available in two colors, blue with a white stripe or white with a blue stripe. And here's another car, same color, but this one is not a 1970, and here's the difference. Here's your high back bucket seat. All 1970 cars had 400s, either a Ram Air 3 or a Ram Air 4. The 69 with a Ram Air 5 engine in it that we saw previously, just as the note flashed up on the screen, we are aware that Ram Air 5 engines were never produced down the assembly line for cars to be sold to the public. There are engines out there, parts, cylinder heads, intakes, blocks that exist for Ram Air 5, but it was never in a production car. 1971 brought about a 455. This one happens to be a high output car. Bit more torque, but not as many RPMs as a 400 cubic inch car that was in the 1970s. So, Yenko Camaro, another Pontiac, and just car after car after car. There's a 67 Camaro right in front of me. There's a Super B back there. There's a red 68 Chevelle right there. And there's just car after car after car. We'll continue to walk around and bring you more content. One last look at this 69 TA. We'll be back soon. Thanks for watching.